It has been 4 months since POCO F6 launched in the Philippines, and dare I say, it's still the best value phone right now, so should you buy it or skip it? Well, here's a different answer. It's a yes and no. I'm going to discuss the reasons why you should buy this phone, as well as the reason why you shouldn't buy this phone. In my last review, I stated the reasons why you shouldn't buy this phone, and I totally understand the sentiment most of you left in the comments because there's really no other company that can offer the level of performance and the level of features the F6 provides to consumers at a very competitive price point. However, I also mentioned within the first 20 seconds of that video recommending the F6 if you're coming from POCO F4. I think most of you did not finish watching the video and did not try to understand the content. With almost every YouTube video praising and recommending this phone, what I simply did was provide a different perspective to expand your perspective when buying a new phone. So this time, I will give two sides of my coin. Not to please the fanboys out there, but to expand the other viewers' perspective because at the end of the day, we all have different needs and buying capabilities. The first reason you shouldn't buy the POCO F6 is if you're looking for a camera-centric phone. No matter how much we beg POCO to give us a camera that can actually compete in the segment, I'm starting to believe it's almost impossible because of the target market and budget. For the price of the F6, POCO simply chose to continue providing the best performance over great camera quality. So regardless of the 50 megapixel Sony camera and the 20 megapixel OmniVision front-facing camera and their respective technical improvements, the photo and video quality can only reach a certain level. In this case, it's just good enough. As a point-and-shoot camera, the F6 won't always get the best shot when needed. Oftentimes, you need to tweak the photo or do more retakes to get acceptable quality. If there's one way the F6 tries to compensate for the lack of software optimization, that's by unlocking the hardware capabilities of both the sensor and the chipset. You get up to 4K at 60 frames video recording that unlocks very clear videos while allowing slow-mo in post-editing, HDR10 Plus recording for better colors and dynamic range, which might be useful to some given the limited dynamic range of the F6 in auto video mode, and stabilization across all lenses including in time-lapse and pro modes. But if you are expecting a reliable selfie camera on the F6, I would say it's good enough, especially in good lighting scenarios. In fact, you can easily get group shots without having to switch to the back cameras because of the wide field of view. But when you switch to video, you get a significant crop that may not be the best option for vloggers. The second reason you shouldn't buy the POCO F6 is the battery life. With the F6 boasting higher screen resolution and a more powerful chipset, the 5000 mAh cell takes a hit as far as screen on time goes. If most of your phone use involves watching videos and playing music in the background, then this shouldn't be a problem. For anything that doesn't require the user to physically interact with the screen, you can stretch the battery for a full day without needing to charge. Once you use that 120Hz panel while scrolling through autoplaying videos on social media, the chipset works itself to keep the performance smooth and stable, but at the expense of battery life. 5 hours of screen on time in a single day may be good enough for most, but basically, that's the same screen on time I get from my Samsung Galaxy Note 9 with 4000 mAh from 2018. That's 6 years ago. To be fair, with POCO F6, the 90-watt charger in the box alleviates some of the battery woes, letting you fill her up from 0 to 100% in under 37 minutes. The third reason you shouldn't buy the POCO F6 is because of the POCO X6 Pro. To be specific, this only applies if you are strict on budget and want longer and more stable gaming sessions. The Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 of the F6 may be better in most benchmarks, although only by a small negligible margin, but the Dimensity 8300 of the X6 Pro performs smoother and sustains performance at higher temperatures. So, if you're a gamer, the X6 Pro holds a better value for your money, especially since its target market is gamers. Additionally, the starting price of the X6 Pro is significantly lower than the F6. The fourth reason you shouldn't buy the POCO F6 is if you have a POCO F5. Unless you have a lot of money to spend, the F6 is an incremental upgrade if you're coming from F5. You're getting a slightly brighter display, a slightly faster performance, and a slightly faster charging speed. You may want to wait another year or two if you want a significant upgrade in the camera or in other aspects of a phone. Or simply hold on to your device until a major breakthrough happens until end of software support. That's about it for my top reasons why you should skip the F6. As for the reasons why you should buy the F6, let's immediately start with two reasons: the performance value and the price value versus the competition. After 4 months, we have seen a few competitors release new phones in the mid-range segment. Realme announced its Realme 13 Pro series last month with a starting price of 24,999 pesos for the phone that comes with only Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 and 45-watt fast charging. Oppo released the Reno 12F for only 18,999, but with the Dimensity 6300 chipset that's nearly 250% slower than the F6. The vanilla Reno 12 is also available with Dimensity 7300 for 24,999 as well, but it's nowhere near as snappy as the F6. Honor 200 has also arrived with the same price tag but focuses solely on the camera, which, by the way, applies to the newly announced Vivo V40 but with a starting price of 26,999. All these phones are not on par with the F6 if we're strictly talking about performance. However, if you are looking for better cameras than the F6, that's where your budget should be. If you're expecting there's another phone out there outside of POCO that could replace the F6 this year, it's safe to say it's not going to happen. This is the best of the best as far as flagship-like phones for cheap go. The third reason why you should buy the F6 is for long-term support. Yes, I know that Samsung offers longer software support with their devices, but let's not forget that Samsung mid-range phones don't age as well as POCO phones in terms of maintaining performance, especially if you have the Exynos variant. I'm never going back to Exynos after my experience with my Samsung Galaxy Note 9, but I digress. With F6, you're getting at least 3 years of promised major software and security updates. Until Android 17, expect the F6 to be fully supported with most of the recent features Android will announce for the next 3 years. In addition, Xiaomi's presence in the local scene makes it easier to access service centers for parts and after-sales services. While I do appreciate the likes of Infinix and Tecno gaining ground over the past few years, it's going to take some time until the reach extends to us, the consumers. But that's basically the POCO F6 after 100 days. Let me know if you want a more conventional video review like the last time, because I might release a 6-month later video of the POCO F6. But that's it for this one. Drop a sub or like if you feel like supporting the channel, and as always, until the next one, stay safe.